Okay, I'll deal with it then. Yeah, okay, no problem. Right.
And penalties. I set an example to Brad of how I would like to set up working good by myself.
See if I can find one. They have a broken piece of
Perfect.
glass in another ring, so we
That way, if the radio fails,
so
I'll
I'm
always
gonna
have
take
that
those seriously,
information.
Daniel.
So I
See
keep
if I
on
can find you something, and I'll
public
go
address.
that on the turf.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll go as fast as I can.
All right.
How much time do we have till game time?
They're going to text over to you just
Adventures
you don't have.
If you're lucky, there'll be no goals, then go over, overtime, it'll be a 1-0 game and 0 penalties. Then we all have to worry about 2 games.
Really put only one shot on this
For the 6th time in this young season, the Port Huron Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers renew their rivalry, the I-94 rivalry, here at Big Boy Arena. Good evening, everyone. My name is Will Wiggleman, here with you at Big Boy Arena. The 3rd time these two teams face off here at Big Boy Arena. 3 times already at McMorran Place. The Rockers have taken 3 out of 5 so far from the Port Huron Prowlers. The Prowlers will look to tie up this series before these two teams head off to face other opponents until they meet again in late December. The Rockers took both last weekend. The Prowlers looking to bounce back on a 3-game losing skid. All that and more coming up in the pregame show. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, we do want to let you know that puck drop is going to be delayed. They're saying at least 15 minutes. A pane of glass is being replaced down to our left. Crew out here trying to get that set, but the clock on the big board here is stationary at 7 minutes. So delays already before puck drop between the Prowlers and the Rockers. But before we get to tonight's game, let's take you back to last weekend when the Prowlers and the Rockers played a home-and-home. First game was here at Big Boy Arena, and Motor City scored 3 straight goals between the first and second period to take a lead they wouldn't relinquish. After Gino Mini scored the opening goal for Port Huron, Ross Bartlett, Everett Thompson, Roman Gaudette gave the Rockers a 3-1 lead in the second. Evan Foley got one back, but Scott Koch, Tommy Cardinal, and Declan Conway scored after that and put the game away. Rockers getting their first win on home ice in that game. That was Scott Koch's and Declan Conway's first games as Motor City Rockers. So some scoring punch early from the new guys for Motor City. That gave the Rockers their first win here at Big Boy Arena and tied the season series at 2 games apiece. Then they shifted to McMorran Place the very next night, and this time it was Motor City getting on the board first. Derek Makima and Ross Bartlett scoring late in that opening frame, but Austin Federley got one back before the end of the period. So it was a 2-1 game heading into the second. Roman Gaudette out of the penalty box and on the scoreboard in the final minute of the middle frame. That made it a 2-goal lead again for Motor City. Once again, Matt Graham getting his first goal of the season. That pulled the Prowlers back within 1 again, but Josh Colton with a dagger just a few minutes later. And the Prowlers fell again, their 3rd straight defeat in this young season. And with that weekend, they fell to 2nd place in the Continental Division with a record of 3-3-1 with 10 points. Meanwhile, the Rockers catapulted themselves up to the top of the Continental Division, 4-2-1 with 13 points coming into this game. If you're just tuning in, we do have a delay. Puck drop will not go on as scheduled. As you can see, they're repairing and replacing a pane of glass over down to our left behind what will be the Prowlers net for 2 of 3 periods tonight. So an some important maintenance work going on, and that delays puck drop for just a few minutes tonight. When we come back, more of the pregame show here from Big Boy Arena. Thank you so much for tuning in for Port Huron Prowlers hockey, and I'll make sure to keep you guys updated as this delay continues. It looks like they're making some pretty quick work of it, but the clock still not moving here at Big Boy Arena. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here at Big Boy Arena, if you're just tuning in, just a little bit of a delay. They've restarted the clock here at Big Boy Arena. They were replacing a pane of glass, as you can see, to our left. But it seems all set to go now, and the clock counting down again to puck drop. Roughly 6.5 minutes to go in the pregame festivities. Well, we'll tell you about a big prowler who's coming back tonight, Joe Devaney, someone who terrorized the Rockers, especially in that opening series. He missed last weekend, and he's coming back tonight, a big piece for the Port Huron Prowlers. He was making up part of that top line with Evan Foley and Larry Vartiainen. Both Vartiainen and Devaney unavailable last weekend. Vartiainen is still unavailable for tonight's game. But Joe Devaney, at least one guy from that line coming back is Joe Devaney. He will be on the line with Evan Foley as we'll take a look at the lineup for tonight's game. Those two pairing with Vinny DeCumbus for tonight. And then the starting line will be the second line. Tucker Scantleberry, Matt Graham, and Austin Federley. Sam Merritt, Dakota Omer, and Dalton Jay are the third line, and Daniel Chartrand, the extra forward for tonight's contest. And then the defensive pairs, a little bit different tonight as they have been usually. This isn't the first time, though, Matt Graham has switched up his defensive pairings. This time he has Alex Johnson and Dustin Henning together as the top pair, and then the starting pair is going to be Brian Parsons and Frank Schumacher, Adam Hainsel, and Gino Mini playing in his 100th career FPHL game tonight. They will be the third pairing, and then Ian Wallace will be the starting goaltender in net tonight for the Prowlers. He made his FPHL debut last weekend against the Motor City Rockers. Made 30 saves on 34 shots in the 4-2 loss for the Prowlers. Danik Rodriguez had a tough time last time he was here. 6 goals against. He was pulled early in the third period. He will be the backup tonight for Port Huron. Under 4.5 minutes on the clock here at Big Boy Arena. As, again, they've been able to fix the glass, which is why puck drop is a little bit delayed. They were fixing the glass to our left, had to completely replace the pane of glass. So that is why puck drop hasn't happened yet, but both teams still in the locker rooms should be coming out any moment now to get set for the opening puck drop. And while we're waiting for that, we'll give you the starters for the Motor City Rockers tonight. It's going to be Alekin Makima and Everett Thompson up front. Ian White, the former NHL veteran, and Dante Suffredini, the defense pair, and Trevor Babin, the goaltender for the Motor City Rockers. You remember last weekend, Blake Scott got the first start for a goaltender that wasn't named Trevor Babin for the Rockers this season, and he got the win against the Prowlers in that Saturday contest. So referees hitting the ice here. 3 minutes up on the clock, still waiting for both teams. We will be right back, and we'll take you down to ice level as soon as the festivities begin. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Looks to be a light crowd here in Fraser as both teams hitting the ice. And we are about to get set for the anthems and the starting lineups for both teams that will be announced. As the Prowlers and Rockers again meeting here for the third time this season, sixth time overall. And through the first two meetings here, the Rockers averaging 957 fans per game early in this season. As they announce the starting lineups for both teams here in Fraser. Again, once again, our puck drop just a little bit delayed. If you're just tuning in, they were replacing a pane of glass down to our left behind. Now the goal that is occupied by Ian Wallace. We'll take you down to ice level so that you can get the Rocker starters, which if you haven't heard yet, they are Alekin Makima and Everett Thompson, Ian White, Dante Suffredini on defense, and Trevor Babin in net. And we'll take you down to ice level so you can get the rest of the starting lineups and the anthems here from Big Boy Arena. Almost set for puck drop here from Big Boy Arena between these two Michigan rivals. Let's take a deeper dive into the goaltending matchup first for Motor City. Once again, it's Trevor Babin. 6 starts for him on the season. 2-2-1 record with a .302 goals against average and a .924 save percentage. Meanwhile, in the Prowlers net, it's Ian Wallace, and these stats will not be completely accurate, as Wallace did come in for most of the third period last time these two teams were here. He has not been given credit for that officially on the stats, but officially it says that Ian Wallace comes in with an 0-1 record with a .411 goals against average and an .882 save percentage. Made his first career pro start with 30 saves last Saturday. Special shout out to the management at the DoubleTree Port Huron for making sure that all of our broadcast equipment got here safely. So thank you to them. They are the reason why this broadcast is able to go on as scheduled here tonight. And both teams getting set to drop the puck just a few minutes after it was scheduled. You're just tuning in again. There was a glass issue after warm-ups had to be completely replaced, but now we can get set to play some hockey. Graham and Makima draw, and we are underway from Motor City. Parsons starts behind his own net, wraps it this side. Prowlers trying to start a rush the other way. Here's Scantleberry trying to power to the net, and a save by Babin, put back in front, and Babin has that one. Quick start for the Prowlers as Tucker Scantleberry with a good opportunity. Trevor Babin up to the task early in this one. Rockers make a quick line change. Puck comes back to Parsons at the point. He put it on. And now Schumacher keeps it in. Scantleberry trying to find Federley down low. Babin the pad save. Kept in momentarily. And now flipped back to center. Schumacher cut it off. And as Scantleberry touches up, Schumacher whips it back deep. Moved back behind the Motor City net. Here's Colton. Coming this side to Rotundi, and then his pass was behind its intended target. That was Cardinal. Then Cardinal tried to take another pass that was behind him. That was from Scott Koch. It turns into a dump in, and now Gino Mini, in his 100th career FPHL game, starts out. Ulmer had it poked off his stick. Dakota Ulmer first on it, and he put it just wide of the net. Hansel gave it away to Giuliano. 2-on-2 rush the other way. Mini poked at that puck. That arm is up for an offsides against Motor City. Delayed offsides, not a penalty on Gino Mini. So play continues. As Klauston moved up, hit Devaney. Returns after a couple games, missing the last two games, gives it away. Ryder forced into the corner. Comes back to the board. Contrado drive, deflected wide. Mini moves it up towards Devaney. It's flipped back to center. Hansel was going for a change. Instead, he'll take the puck, get it in, and drop it off to Devaney. Joe Devaney walks to the middle, takes the shot, steered away by Babin. Devaney tried to work behind the net towards Foley, and it deflects out of play. 2:06 into period one. No score yet between the Rockers and the Prowlers from Big Boy Arena. Face-off tied up, makes its way to the net. Foley couldn't poke it in. Moved up towards Thompson. Top line for Motor Cities. Everett Thompson dumps it deep. In the near side corner, backhand on net. Stopped by Wallace. He couldn't control the rebound. And comes all the way back out. And sent all the way down. Icing waved off as Babin comes out to play it. Moves over to Suffredini. Comes towards the middle of the ice. Quick shot stopped by Wallace. He couldn't handle the rebound, and puck skitters to the sideboards. Cardinal in front, save by Wallace on Ross Bartlett, who found himself all alone in the slot. Bartlett fires it again deep. Puck hops up in the air, and Johnson gloves it down, flips it high out to center. Glove down by White, and back into Prowler territory. Henning moves it up. Here's Graham. Off the backboards. Babin keeps it back there. Scantleberry first on it. He blows a tire. Puck back out to center. Bartlett threw it to an area. No Rockers there. Both Koch and Federley missed on that poke check. Scantleberry takes the puck, winds, fires off of Suffredini's stick high in the air and into Babin's glove. 16:23 to go in period one. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Rockers. Chartrand coming out here for Port Huron along with Merritt and Jay. Dakota Ulmer was listed on that line, but Chartrand, the extra forward, getting his first shift of the game. Now here's Conway moving the other way. Parsons back. Conway pulls up, waits for help. Finds Rotundi, but he missed high and wide. Colton tried to put it back on net. Parsons cut it off. And now Jay gives to Merritt. Sam Merritt with some speed makes the pass off. Chartrand shot save. Rebound. Another from Babin. Delayed penalty coming against Motor City. And the Prowlers will go to the power play first. It's a hooking call against Brad Ryder. A good rush from the Prowlers' third line. And it turns into a man advantage, something the Prowlers have struggled with as of late. 1 for 17 officially last weekend. Foley unit out there for Port Huron. Looks like no changes in personnel to that unit at least, as it's wrapped around towards Schumacher. He keeps it deep. Devaney at the near side point. Goes down low for Foley, put it across. Schumacher couldn't handle it, and it's cleared down. Federley starts the breakout behind his own net. Gives up to Schumacher on the left wing side. All the way over here, this side to Devaney. Steps around a man. Joe Devaney goes around the net. Schumacher was looking for the one-time pass. Instead, Joe Devaney is going to take it around the zone again. Now gives it over towards Schumacher. He whips it on goal, and Babin makes the save. Schumacher gives back to Federley at the point. Winds, fires, and Babin looked like he got a piece of that one, and it's cleared all the way down. About the halfway point of this man advantage, 5 minutes into period one between the Prowlers and the Rockers. As Jace moves in with speed, stops up, waits for help to set up. Johnson, quick shot blocked by Everett Thompson down on a knee. And out of play goes the puck. 47 seconds left on the Prowlers power play, 14:46 in the period. And it looks like we will take a timeout with 14:46 to go in the period. But we will keep it right here so we can take a look at our player comparison for tonight. It's Joe Devaney and Ross Bartlett. These two players were traded for each other in the offseason after Devaney became a Rocker in the offseason. He was a Prowler for a little bit last year, also he was a member of the Delaware Thunder for most of last season. He was traded to Delaware with Quinton Roseboom for Adam Morgan by the Prowlers, selected by Motor City in the expansion draft, then traded back to Port Huron in exchange for Ross Bartlett, and both of these guys have been crucial to their teams. With Devaney, despite only playing 5 games, still the team leader in goals with 5, tied for the team lead in points with 7. Well, Bartlett also atop those stats for his club. So 2 important players in 1 important trade. Shots right now 6-3 in favor of Port Huron. As the power play continues, 40 seconds left on it. Loose puck gathered up by White, and he'll clear it down. Johnson gives to Jay. Dalton Jay moves up, takes the shot, missed just wide. Johnson trying to put it back deep. Giuliano was challenging. Now Alex Johnson has to fight back just to make sure Giuliano didn't get a break on net. Final 10 seconds ticking off the man advantage as Johnson works from behind his own cage. Turned over at the line, Bartlett back in, gives in front, Koch on the backhand, and a big save by Wallace. He got the rebound too, Koch digging away. He takes a chop from Graham, Koch goes down. His stick was all involved in Ian Wallace's equipment. And Matt Graham is going to head to the penalty box. So just as the Prowlers power play ends, they'll head on the PK as Graham gets a 2-minute slashing penalty. After Scott Koch was digging away for a rebound, Graham didn't like that, gave Koch a two-hander, and he'll get 2 minutes. Koch signed last week with Motor City, made his debut in that series with Port Huron, and did some damage. Goal and an assist in 2 games. Here's Bartlett. Tried to feed over to Makima. Makima almost fell down, but he keeps it away from Foley, who was looking the other way. Evan Foley takes the puck and whips it down. Colton curls behind his own net. Pass eludes Bartlett. Needs to stop up. Now here comes Giuliano. Pass off the boards towards Ryder. He and Henning go in together behind the net. Rockers control. Colton at the point. Move down low in the near side corner, Makima. Giuliano pushed off. Puck cleared to the boards by Henning. Colton, wrist shot, saved by Wallace. Rebound loose, and Minnie clears it down. Halfway through the penalty to Matt Graham, and over 7 minutes into period 1. Conway gathering speed behind his own net. He moves up ice, tried to pass. It was too far ahead of his intended target. So the puck sent right back to Rocker ice. Koch up towards Conway. He gets it deep. Wallace out behind his net to play it. Schumacher takes the loose puck off the glass only as far as White. He just barely kept it in. Pass comes over. It's behind Everett Thompson, and now Scantlebury wants to move the other way. Tucker Scantlebury takes the shot. Babin the save, and he'll hold on. Suffredini and Scantlebury coming together as Scantlebury was heading towards the net. And they'll be separated by the linesman with 13 seconds to go on the Prowlers PK and 12:10 to go in period 1. It's an offensive zone faceoff for Port Huron. They'll send out Federley and Scantlebury with Graham set to come out of the box. He will complete this line. And Federley, the man to take the draw. Koch wins it from him. And Suffredini gets set to move up ice. Dumped in. Now Bartlett thought about the wraparound. Goes backdoor. Koch couldn't control it. And the whistles blew before Scott Koch even got that shot off. The net came off its moorings, so I don't think that would have counted even if Koch was able to get control and tuck it in. But the Prowlers get a break there. That could have been an A1 opportunity for Scott Koch. Puck just hopping on him a bit. Back to 5-on-5, 11:53 to go in period 1. Ryder and Foley set to draw. Now off the draw, Cardinal took the shot, found glass. Puck finally drops. No one knew where it was. Comes back to the point. Contrado winds, fires. That one missed wide. He was looking for some sticks in front, couldn't find any. Minnie reverses course. Now trying to spin away from Bartlett, gives over to Hainzel. Up to Vinny DeCumbus. Now Foley. Evan Foley puts it on from a weird angle. And puck goes off the dasher and back to center. Foley in again, but this time Prowlers offsides with 11:14 to go in period 1. So Johnson and Henning, the D pair, with Merritt, Jay, and Chartrand, the forward line. Haven't seen Dakota Omer in a couple of shifts. Johnson flips it in. Gloved by Rotondi. Prowlers keep it in. Jay lost it. It's rimmed around to the far side. Chartrand kept it in, but played it off of Merritt. So here's Makima the other way. Drops for Alekin and a save by Wallace with the glove. And he'll hold on with 10:52 to go in period one. Rockers getting a late change in here. They'll send Bartlett's line along with Koch and Cardinal out. Johnson wraps it around towards Chartrand. He takes a hit. Gloved down, and Prowlers touch it first. So Chartrand able to get it deep. Comes back out to center. Here's Henning at his own blue line. Played it up. That deflects into Motor City Ice, so icing waved off. Rotundi reverses behind the net towards Colton. Colton, long pass up, deflected in by Cardinal. Bartlett first on it. Ross Bartlett tried to feed the slot. Koch was there, but Schumacher got a stick on it. Here's Scantleberry moving the other way. Tucker Scantleberry looking for Schumacher charging the net. That hit a foot. And now Parsons slows things down, gets it in, but not too deep as it comes back out to center. This time Federally able to get it all the way in. We passed the halfway point of the first period. Colton stumbled but was able to pass the puck off, and now controlling behind the net are the Rockers. Colton gives near side to Giuliano. Flatai and in. And now Parsons up the boards. Ryder cut it off. Ryder looking for a play. Instead he'll cycle it deep. Conway behind the net. Giuliano poked off his stick by Schumacher. And now Federally moving up ice with Graham and Scantleberry, but Scantleberry in too quickly, and the play offsides. Shots tied at 7 apiece between the Prowlers and the Rockers with 9:22 to go in the first period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people. They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, Prowlers and Rockers, no score yet in their 6th meeting of the season. Evan Foley recently celebrated a birthday, turning 24 back on November 2nd. He lines up for the faceoff with Derek Makima. Comes back to White. Gives over to Suffredini. Devaney stepped in front of that pass and gets a shot on that Babin holds on to. 9:13 to go in the first period. Still no score. Face-off one to the boards. White going behind his own cage to find some time and space. He does it. Rockers start their breakout. Stretch pass up towards Thompson, out of his reach. So the Rockers have iced the puck. Another offensive zone faceoff coming for Port Huron. Foley and Makima to draw again to Trevor Babin's left. Comes back to the point mini. In the slot, Devaney couldn't pull the trigger. Alekin couldn't handle that pass. Prowlers keep it in. Tecumseh battling with Alekin for the puck. White steps in to take it. White tried to drop it off. Foley turning back the other way. Has Tecumseh with him. Evan Foley got it over. Tecumseh a shot. Saved by Babin doing the splits. Big save from Trevor Babin to keep this one scoreless. Hansel trying to get in. Devaney kept the puck deep. Joe Devaney gets to the middle. He scores! Welcome back to the lineup, Joe Devaney. He dangles through and beats Trevor Babin. Prowlers have a 1-0 lead with 8:25 to go in the first period. Well, Trevor Babin made a heck of a save on Vinny DeCumbus just moments earlier, but the Prowlers kept the pressure on. Devaney kept the puck in, and he's able to do what he does best, scoring his team-leading 6th of the season and putting the Prowlers ahead 1-0. An important cog to this lineup, and he just showed why. Bartlett tried to put it on, stopped by Wallace. And now Chartrand couldn't move the other way. Koch kept it in. Moved down deep. Cardinal. Double teamed by Henning and Merritt, but Koch pulls it out. Tried the wraparound in front, save, rebound. Another one from Ian Wallace. And Bartlett can't believe that he didn't pot that goal. Couple of big saves from Ian Wallace on the doorstep against the Rockers' leading scorer. 7:52 to go in the first period, 1-0 Port Huron. Ian Wallace, the West Islip, New York native, playing in his second career FPHL game. Here's Conway, rips the shot, saved by Wallace. Here comes Jay, up to Chartrand, takes the shot, easily steered aside by Babin. Contrado, chased by Chartrand, he'll reverse behind the net. Now Vaughn Clouston with it. Off the boards, hit a stanchion, and now 2-on-1 developing for Motor City. The pass over to Giuliano, didn't get there initially, but he backhands it home, and we're tied up at 1 with 7:18 to go in the first period. A quick response from the Motor City Rockers, as on that broken play off of the stanchion, got past Parsons at the point as he was trying to keep it in. If that puck stayed on the glass, Parsons would have kept it in, but instead it came down the other way. And Schumacher got a piece of that pass, but not enough, and Giuliano just whacked at it and was able to find that top corner. We have a tied hockey game. Makima trying to feed down low. Alakin pushed it wide. Graham moving up the other way. 2 Rockers back. Graham pulls up, waits for help. Cycles down deep for Federley. Puts it on from the sharp angle. And it's chopped out of the zone. Parsons back to collect. Now Graham curls up ice. Finds Scantleberry. His feed to Federley. Didn't get there. And now Rotundi. Lost the puck in his feet. Just gets it in, but Rockers offsides. 6:36 to go in the first period. So the goals 1 minute and 7 seconds apart officially for Joe Devaney and Jonathan Giuliano. For Devaney, his team leading 6th of the year. Giuliano, his 2nd of the season for the Rockers. Hainsel behind his own net. Tries to step out, moved up towards DeCumbus. Vinny DeCumbus with some good hustle to negate the icing. Now Foley put it in front, nobody home. Kept in at the line, flipped on net. Rotundi knocked it down with the glove. Rotundi with it again, DeCumbus causing some havoc. Now Cardinal will get it high back to center. Bartlett and Minnie come together. Ross Bartlett trying to step around. Gino Minnie using that long stick, able to fend it off. Here's Foley. Loose puck at center. Knocked down by Devaney. He'll just get it deep and get a change. Babin waffle boards it to the corner. White drops back to Suffredini. Back up to Ian White. Now Ryder into the zone, trying to step around Johnson, but Alex Johnson Great job to take it, and Suffredini's shot into Wallace's glove, and he'll hold on. 5:25 to go in period 1. Brad Ryder, a dangerous player for Motor City, point in 5 of his 6 games played this season. He also scored the first goal in Rockers history back on October 13th here in this arena. Battle on the boards. Johnson there. He took it away, but Ryder kept it in. Tried to feed Conway in the slot. Puck was in his skates. And now Jay couldn't handle that pass, and it's chopped into the Rockers bench. 5:03 on the clock. Both teams with some good action so far. Rockers with more shots, 12-11 in favor of Motor City in the shot department. But 1-1 the score on the big board here at Big Boy Arena. Suffredini gives to Makima. Loose puck recollected by Suffredini. He dances through, gets through a couple of Prowlers, knocks down Alex Johnson after he took the puck away. Makima tried to put it on net. Instead, he'll play it deep down the boards. Henning just gets it out. Suffredini waiting for it at center. He'll go D to D over to White. Ian White tried to feed the slot. Makima saw it go out of his reach. Now Thompson on goal. Save, rebound. Cleared away by the Prowlers. Graham able to push it back out to center. White up to Makima. He gets it only as far as Graham, who plays it back to Parsons. Back up to Matt Graham. As Prowlers looking to start a breakout, they get it up to Federley. Austin Federley in, drops to Scantlebury. Tried the return feed, but that one deflected away. Now Cardinal on the 2-on-2 rush, has Koch with him. Cardinal stops up, caught by Graham on the back check, and Parsons takes the puck. All the way up to Federley. Gives to Parsons, takes the shot, saved by Babin. Parsons first on the rebound, played it off to Scantlebury. He put it in front, Graham couldn't tap it home. Schumacher the one-time blast, found glass. Federley stepped up, tried to keep it in but couldn't. 2-on-2 rush the other way, Bartlett with it. Bartlett puts it down low, Wallace steers it aside. Prowlers back the other way again. Scantlebury had it in his skates. Contrato took it from him. Tried to feed it up towards Conway. Minnie took away that bouncing puck. Here's Gino Minnie. Back to the point. Hansel had to take it on his backhand. Almost gave the puck away, and Conway would have had a breakaway. Devaney curls at center. Under 3 to play in the opening period. Devaney dances his way through in front. Save, rebound. Another one from Trevor Babin as Evan Foley jamming away on the doorstep. Hansel's shot blocked. Giuliano comes the other way with Conway. Hansel takes Giuliano in. Conway with a shot over top of the net. And now Foley moves back up, has Minnie going to net, gets it there. Oh, and a save by Babin on the deflection by Gino Minnie. Jay moves up to Chartrand. Andy Chartrand winds, fires. That one missed wide. Henning takes it back at center, fresh off the bench. Moved up to Jay. Now to Chartrand. Tried the return feed, deflected to the corner. Merritt in there with Rotundi. Puck pops to the slot. And the Rockers move the other way, under 2 to play in the first period. And Rockers offside. 1:54 to be exact on the clock, and we'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Motor City, the Rockers and the Prowlers knotted up at 1 apiece. It's been an entertaining first period between these two teams. Joe Devaney got the Prowlers on the board first, with his team leading 6th of the year, but quickly, a minute and 7 seconds later, the Rockers responded with Jonathan Giuliano's 2nd of the season, and that's where we stand with a minute 54 to go in the first period. Will Wiggleman here with you as I will be all 56 games of this Port Huron Prowlers season, including road games here at Big Boy Arena and road games coming up the next couple weeks. The Prowlers looking ahead, going to Mississippi next week and then Columbus the week after. I will be there. We'll have those broadcasts here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Deflected in on Babin. He plays it over to Suffredini. Suffredini lifted it back to center. Schumacher kept it in front of him. Merritt chopped it by, but couldn't gain control on the other side. Apologies for the camera mishap there, folks, as it's moved back around. Chartrand up towards Jay. Suffredini steps up the ice. Quick shot on Wallace. He makes the save. Scantleberry. Now here's Schumacher back over to Scantleberry. Dangles through center. Tucker Scantleberry's shot saved by Babbitt. Chipped up the boards. Parsons gets it deep. Now Contrado and Graham chasing after it in the left wing corner. Hainsel keeps it deep. 40 seconds left in the first period. Contrado trying to force it out. Hainsel got down to block it. Now Scantleberry to the near side. Federley put it on, missed it wide. Scantleberry tried to keep it deep again. Comes back to the point, Minnie, his shot blocked. Gino Minnie unable to keep it in. Bartlett all by himself, waiting for help. Tried to find Contrado. Minnie knocked it away. 14 seconds left in the first period. Federley back to Minnie. Scantleberry wasn't ready for that pass. It's back deep. Final 5 seconds ticking off in the first period. Hainsel rims it up the boards. And that will do it for period number 1 here from Big Boy Arena. A 1-1 score between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. Shots on goal, 16 for Port Huron, 15 for Motor City. And each team with a goal apiece as we get ready for the first intermission, as the Prowlers looking to snap a 3-game losing skid. We'll gear up for the new season at the Prowlers official team store. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena, the store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, brand new sock styles, and more. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. 1-1 our score, first intermission underway here in Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here at Big Boy Arena. First intermission, just about 5 minutes away from completing. Before we take a look back at that opening frame, let's take you around the FPHL with all the teams in the league in action tonight. We start in Delaware, where the Thunder and the Watertown Wolves are tied up at 2 through one period of play. Watertown out shooting Delaware 18-6, but a 2-2 score through 20 minutes there. In Elmira, the Mammoth and the Black Bears tied up at 2 as well. That one getting late into the second period. Mammoth still searching for their first win as a franchise. Down in Carolina, they just started the third period as the Thunderbirds and the Hat Tricks are knotted up at 1 apiece. And coming up, puck drop in just a few minutes, the Columbus River Dragons and Mississippi Seawolves get set to battle it out at Mississippi Coast Coliseum. So all the games in action right now are knotted up, including ours here in Fraser. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday night as the Prowlers and the Rockers are at a 1-1 score through one period of play. It was Joe Devaney keeping a play alive at the point, stepping to the slot and getting the goal, stepping to the slot and beating Trevor Babin for the first goal at the game. And then it was Jonathan Giuliano on the rush, taking a pass from Brad Ryder and knocking it into the net. It was a bit of a broken play on both ends, where the Rockers were clearing it up the boards, up the glass. Brian Parsons tried to step in and block it at the point, but unfortunately for him, it hit a stanchion, bounced to the middle. That led to a 2-on-1, and then Ryder's pass was partially blocked by Frank Schumacher, but Giuliano was able to whack the bouncing puck out of almost midair and into the top corner to beat Ian Wallace. That's his second goal of the season, and that's where we stand. Getting set for period number 2, just a few minutes away. Ian Wallace with 14 saves for the Prowlers in that opening period. Trevor Babin with 15. Only penalties were to Brad Ryder and Matt Graham. Each got 2-minute minors, and neither team able to score on the man advantage. Teams getting set to come out in just a couple of minutes, and we'll have the second period action for you right here on the Prowlers YouTube page. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. Then I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Referees taking the ice, Prowlers taking the ice for the second period. Prowlers will be going right to left for this second period, was the Rockers still yet to come out. Let's still have a minute and a half up on the clock as we get set for second period action. Prowlers on a 3-game losing skid right now. As we see Dakota Ulmer heading to the bench. We only saw him for 1 or 2 shifts in that opening period, and then Dan Chartrand, listed as the extra forward tonight, he took Ulmer's place on that line with Sam Merritt and Dalton Jay, but Ulmer back on the bench for the Prowlers. We'll see if he is able to go. He took a bit of a, he had a couple of rough times in practice this week, taking some pucks, taking some hits, and he was good to start the game, but we haven't really seen him too much in this one so far. So we'll see what we have here as both teams getting set to face off for the second period of play. Team setting up just as they started the first periods. The Graham line against the Makima line, with Parsons and Schumacher on the back end for Port Huron, White and Suffredini, the defenders for Motor City. And Graham and Makima draw. We're underway in period 2. White moved up to Makima. Graham one-handed it back. Now Prowlers trying to move the other way. Here's Federley. Second chance gets it to Scantleberry. Takes the shot. Save. Rebound. It's loose in the crease. And finally, Babin able to cover up. Good opportunity early for Port Huron. This line continuing to produce some offensive chances. Both Graham and Federley scored their first goals of the year last Saturday, a week ago today. While Scantleberry, 4 games with the Prowlers, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. He made his FPHL debut in that series with Carolina a couple of weeks ago. He and Vinny DeCumbus getting their first career FPHL games under their belt that weekend. Ghosh gives it off to Bartlett, heading towards the net, off the side of the net. And now comes across, and Koch with the one-timer. Ian Wallace with a huge save with the blocker, and it goes out of play. What a save by Wallace, sliding from left to right to rob Scott Koch, who had a one-time chance in the slot. Face-off coming to Wallace's left. Check that Wallace's right. And there is Dakota Ulmer skating in for the face-off against Scott Koch. Ulmer wins it back. Hainsel played up the boards. Cardinal trying to put it right back in. And now Minnie reverses back to his own end. Ulmer to Minnie, or to Jay, excuse me. Now here's Minnie. Ulmer slow to his feet. Meanwhile, Minnie drops for Merritt. His pass behind Jay. Ulmer still out on the ice. He comes in there to help in the scrum. Now Ulmer with it. Dakota Ulmer trying to put it in front. Didn't get all the way to Jay, and the Rockers get it out. Koch trying to dance around Hainsel. He's forced to the corner. Hainsel gives him a big hit. Now sent on net, steered aside by Wallace. Clouston walking down the wall. Behind the net, Vaughn Clouston taken off his stick by Minnie. Gino tosses it up towards Jay. Looking for Hainsel. Hainsel tried to play it back to the point. Didn't get all the way to Ulmer. And played back to center. Henning trying to put it back in deep. Hainsel on the forecheck. Instead, it's poked back to center. Here's Conway. Pulls up. Takes the shot. Missed it wide. Rebound to the Rockers. And now Contrado on the near side. Plays it deep. Out of Giuliano's reach off the backboards. Now Devaney played it off of Foley's helmet. And into the zone. Devaney trying to dance around a man. Couldn't do it. And now Foley. Plays up to Johnson. Johnson kept it in. Now Ryder slows things down as we approach 3 minutes into period number 2. 1-1 our score. Contrado waiting for his team to finish a change. Now he comes out, slowly moves up to Thompson. Henning behind his own net. Puck comes out. all the way up to Devaney. Joe Devaney trying to power his way to the net. He's forced back to the corner. Alkin turned it over. Here's Devaney. Makes a move, takes the shot. Found glass. Puck caroms all the way back down to Prowler ice. Wallace keeps it away from an oncoming rocker. Schumacher tried to chop it up the boards. Now Scantlebury moving up the other way. Tucker Scantlebury finds the puck down to a knee. Penalty coming against Motor City as Tucker Scantlebury was taken down and denied a good opportunity. But the Prowlers will go back to the power play. It's another hooking call against Motor City, this time Derek Makima. Second hooking call of the game against the Rockers. First one went to Brad Ryder in the first period. And a second chance for this Port Huron power play that again is in a funk. Came into this game 7th in the FPHL at 16.2%. And 0 for 1 tonight. Wow, this Rockers PK 87.2%. Third in the FPHL, but once again, these two teams, most of that has been against the Prowlers. These two teams have played each other all but 2 games this season. As Suffredini taken in by Scantlebury. Comes up to Decumbus at the point. Johnson down to Jay, takes the shot, goes high and into Babin's glove. He catches the pop-up for a whistle. 18 seconds into the man advantage for Port Huron. Just over 4 minutes into period 2 between these two clubs. Face off one back. Here's Johnson to Jay. Poked off his stick by Ryder and all the way back down. Now here's Alex Johnson moving up. Johnson gonna take it himself behind the net. His pass poked away. Koch tried to get it out, only got as far as Jay, but now it's worked back up to Scott Koch with a step on Decumbus. Koch shoots, and he lifted it high over the net. And it looks like Koch doubled over, and a penalty coming to Port Huron. It's Alex Johnson heading to the box. And they're going to give him a charging penalty. So that negates the final minute 6 of the Prowlers power play. And we'll play 4-on-4 for that time until the Rockers get a 54-second man advantage, barring any other penalties. Merritt and Giuliano to draw. Worked back to the point. Here's Colton, takes the shot. That got caught up in Schumacher, and Frank Schumacher moves up ice. Gives to Devaney, back to Schumacher. Here's Schumacher, backhand, deflected away. Everett Thompson behind the net. Now he moves up ice slowly. Thompson surrounded by Prowlers. He'll take it himself. Thompson to the net. He's taken down, sliding into the net. And whistle blows as it comes off its moorings. No call coming, despite what the Rockers fans here might want. We have a sparse-looking crowd here in Motor City. As the face-off going to come outside of the Prowlers zone because it was a Rocker who took off the net. Minnie fanned on the pass. He'll flip it up towards Foley, and now Federley. Drops to Foley, and Federley taken down away from the play. He is face down on the ice. Penalties coming. And now a bit of a scrum going on. Minnie getting involved. And Bridget Smith, the Prowlers trainer, coming out to check on Austin Federley. It's Ross Bartlett heading to the box. Federle dropped the pass off to Foley, and then he and Bartlett collided. Federle immediately lost his glove, lost his stick, and now he's back to his feet, being helped off the ice by Dustin Henning and tonight's backup goaltender, Danik Rodrigue. Jay and Koch representing their teams over by the referee circle on the far side as we figure out the penalties. We're already at 4-on-4 for another 21 seconds. And we're 5.5 minutes into period number 2. A tough-looking collision there. And it looks like Dalton Jay signaling to his bench that it will be a 4-on-3. So a 4-on-3 man advantage for Port Huron coming up. No penalty yet up on the board. But for Prowlers heading towards the circle, it's Devaney, Scantlebury, Foley, and Minnie. And now a 5-minute major has been put up for Ross Bartlett. That means he's in the dressing room. I can't see yet who is serving the penalty, but Ross Bartlett with a 5-minute major and a big opportunity here for Port Huron. Von Clouston heading to the box to serve the penalty. And we will confirm if it is a game misconduct in just a second. As the Prowlers heading back to their bench. And we will take a timeout. 14:28 to go in period 2. Prowlers with a big opportunity coming up. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Fraser, 14:28 to go in period 2. Well, you saw Austin Federle head to the dressing room after taking that hit. Ross Bartlett also to the dressing room. He laid that hit. He's been given a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for head contact. So the Prowlers with a 4-on-3 man advantage for the next 21 seconds. And then the 54 seconds after that will be 4-on-4, and then it will be 5-on-4 for the Prowlers for however much more time will be remaining in that 5 minutes. Devaney takes the pass from Minnie. They switch. Now Scantlebury also working to the near side. Devaney still with the puck, gets it over. Tucker Scantlebury takes the shot, found glass, bounced back in front. Foley poked it towards Scantlebury. Tucker Scantlebury able to keep it in. Now we're up to 4-on-4. Foley attacked by Makima fresh out of the box. And now Scantlebury pushed it back to the point. Here's Minnie. Gives to Devaney. Now Scantlebury in front. Save, rebound. Pushed just wide by Schumacher. Now Scantlebury in front. Turnaround shot. And Babin looked like he got enough of that one. Schumacher head up. Gives to Minnie. Fakes the shot over to Devaney. Tried to find Schumacher, skating towards the net. 15 seconds left on Johnson's penalty as Makima moves up ice. He just gets it deep. And in 5 seconds, it will be a Prowlers power play for over 3.5 minutes. Here's Jay into the zone. Down deep towards Graham. He battles with Contrado behind the net. 5-on-4 advantage for the Prowlers for the next 3:35. Merritt rims it around to Schumacher, gives to Jay quickly on net. He didn't get much on it, and then the headman feed was blocked at the line. That could have sent Conway in all by himself. Johnson passed it and get to him. Here is Conway fighting off Johnson, and he flips it just past the net. Schumacher up to Graham. He one-touches it back. Johnson gave up to Graham. He deflected it, and now Conway again. He rips a shot, found glass. Ryder with it. In front towards Conway. No! How did that not go? Conway frustrated with himself as he goes back to the bench. He had a couple of grade A opportunities, but still a 1-1 game as the Prowlers get it in. And icing is called, but it looked like it got deflected at center. I thought it got deflected at center, but referees say no. So face-off coming back to Prowler end, and now they'll talk about it. 2:45 to go on the Bartlett Major. And they will whistle that the face-off comes back to center ice. So a my bad from the referees, as the icing was incorrectly called. And the Prowlers will change their power play unit. Federley back out on the ice after taking that hit. Prowlers need a fifth. Here comes Frank Schumacher to complete this power play unit. 12-12 to go in period 2 as face-off down, and Schumacher gives back to Austin Federley. Federley skates up ice. Chipped into the zone. He'll go for it himself. Around and behind the net. Work back to the point, out of Devaney's reach and out of the zone. Federley. Back in his own end. Looking to curl up ice. Austin Federley, head up. Slaps it in. Comes all the way to the near side, but White able to send it back all the way down off of Schumacher's glove. Final 2 minutes now of this power play as Schumacher and Federley botch the handoff. Now comes up to Merritt at the Rockers line. Here's Federley walking in, takes the shot, saved by Babin. Then the rebound, chopped back on net. Another save. DeCumbus put it on. That was blocked. Shot back to center. Here's Koshin on alone. Scott Kosh on a breakaway. Saved by Wallace. Penalty coming up against the Prowlers. And it's a penalty shot for Scott Kosh. Vinny DeCumbus got his stick in there. And Scott Koch with a breakaway will on the penalty kill will now get a penalty shot against Ian Wallace. A minute 38 to go in the Prowlers power play. 11:05 to go in period 2. And the first penalty shot of the year in a game involving the Port Huron Prowlers. Here comes Koch. Koch scoops up the puck. Drifts a little bit left, in on Wallace, and he scores! A short-handed goal on the penalty shot for Scott Koch, and the Rockers take their first lead of the game. It's 2-1. So the first penalty shot in Motor City Rockers history is a goal from Scott Koch, and the Prowlers giving up a number of short-handed breaks. It comes back to bite them, as DeCumbus, the man who took the penalty, will get it deep. Colton taken in by Scantleberry. Now Ryder finds a seam and gets it all the way back to Prowler ice. Conway on the chase. Johnson able to work up to Graham. Graham drops it off to Cumbus. Down low, Graham in front. Scantleberry save, rebound. Kicked around in the slot and cleared. And now Johnson, final minute on the power play, approaching the midway point of period 2. And now Johnson. Shoved off. In the corner, Alex Johnson curling away from pressure. Gives to Scantleberry. Up to the point, here's Henning. Over to Jay. Now Johnson. Wrist shot, blocked aside by Babin. Graham behind the net. Back to Henning. All the way across looking for Jay. Popped it in front. Babin got the glove on it, and he'll hold on. And now Scantleberry and Everett Thompson getting into it a little bit. Thompson has to get back to his feet, and they're taking Tucker Scantleberry to the penalty box, so that negates the final 20 seconds of the Prowlers power play, and we'll have that for you when we return. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, Prowlers trailing the Motor City Rockers 2-1, up on shots though 24-17, but the important score 2-1 Motor City, and Tucker Scantleberry in the box for 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. That negates the final 20 seconds of what was Ross Bartlett's 5-minute major. As the Prowlers clear it out, it's 4-on-4 for the next 15. But the Prowlers power play unable to get anything done. They even gave up a shorthanded breakaway chance to Scott Koch. It turned into a penalty shot, and Koch buried it to give his team their first lead of the game. And now the Rockers on the man advantage, so the Prowlers power play once again not coming through. As Suffredini steps into the zone. Back turned, and he'll just get it deep. Back to the point, here's White. Biggs gives over to Conway, and Declan Conway will move back to center. This comes over to White. Rockers trying to enter the zone. Thompson all the way across. Motor City setting up. That shot from a sharp angle finds glass, and it's as good as a Prowlers clear. Halfway through the Scantleberry penalty. 8:41 to go in period 2, 2-1 our score. Koch pulls up, gives back to Thompson. Everett Thompson trying to turn the corner. His shot blocked, and White has to retreat back to center. Koch taken down by Chartrand. And now Minnie takes it in his own end and sends it all the way down. Babin sends it over to the far side. Ulmer got there with Giuliano. Dakota Ulmer kept it deep. Now here's Colton. Makima trying to work up ice. One final chance for the Rockers on this man advantage. Here's Makima stepping to the goal. Backhander. Saved by Wallace stretching across. Puck comes out of the zone, and that will take care of the penalty. So both PKs are still perfect tonight, but the Rockers PK with a goal, and that's the difference right now in the 2-1 game. Makima hassled by Scantleberry as he enters the zone. Off the boards and out. Giuliano takes it back at center. Colton moved up to Ryder, quickly up to Cardinal. Tommy Cardinal knocked down, tried to take the shot, eaten up by the stick of Brian Parsons, and out of play with 7:14 to go in the second period. Don't mind the camera going dark there for just a second. Face-off one to the boards. Comes back to the point. Contrado pushed it wide. Now Federley off the boards and out. Finds Merritt. But Prowlers couldn't get past the red line. Koch back in, saved by Wallace, the rebound. Collected by Cardinal. Hassled by Hainzel. Sent back deep. Here's Federley. Up the boards again. Rockers keep it in. A couple players come together in the near side corner. As the battle continues, tough for us to see from our vantage point. Now here's Koch. Poked out in front of Elias Thompson, had a couple of whacks, still loose in the slot. Wallace kept it out, still loose, and now Wallace has it covered up and Federley knocked down again. And it looks like another Rocker heading to the box for knocking down Austin Federley. This time it's Tommy Cardinal. But Ian Wallace standing tall on the doorstep to keep the Prowlers within one. Cardinal, the only one in the box. A 2-minute roughing call coming to him, and the Prowlers power play will once again try to work out of the funk that they're in. One for 17 last weekend, and really that goal was not a power play setup. It was off of the rush. So here's DeCumbus, back to Johnson. Now up to Vinny DeCumbus. Tried to feed it down low towards Graham. He and Suffredini come together. Puck worked up the boards. Back to Johnson. Now over to DeCumbus. Takes the shot. It's in Suffredini. Johnson thought about the shot. Instead he goes down low to Graham. Now Scantleberry. Comes back to Johnson at the point. Back to Tucker Scantleberry on the near side. Takes the shot, save, rebound, batted at by Johnson, and Babin's pad was there. Scantleberry over to Johnson. That was the best chance for this Prowlers power play, as Johnson takes the shot, blocked by Suffredini. White collapsed on by a couple of Prowlers. Puck comes to Graham, feeds Johnson walking down slot, takes the shot, saved by Babin. And the Rockers clear it down. Couple of big saves from Trevor Babin past the halfway point of the man advantage as the Prowlers begin the change to the other unit. Here's Federley. Over to Schumacher. Schumacher into the zone. Tried to feed it in front. Nobody there. And Thompson softly gets it back down. Under 5 minutes to play here in period 2. 30 seconds to go on the Cardinal penalty. Devaney working past the hit of Giuliano. Merritt pushed it back in Devaney's direction. He was tied up. Now Devaney digs it out. Only for a second as the Rockers able to clear again. And that should take care of the final seconds of this power play. Schumacher up to Federley. Puck worked into the zone. We're back to 5-on-5. Cardinal fresh out of the box, looking to start a rush. 3-on-2 is Elias Thompson with the shot. Save, rebound, squared back through the crease. Colton a shot, didn't get all the way through. Now Rotundi pinching down from his defense position. Pushed back around behind the net. Cardinal with it. Back to the point, Colton winds, fires, deflected wide. Koch tried to wrap it back out in front. Puck off, or net off its moorings. And we get a whistle with 3:51 to go in period 2. Shots 27-22 for the Prowlers, but the Rockers with a 2-1 lead will take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 3:51 to go in period 2, but the Prowlers trailing on the scoreboard 2-1 to the Motor City Rockers. The only goal of the period belongs to Scott Koch, who scored it on a short-handed penalty shot against Ian Wallace. First penalty shot in Rockers history. It's his second of the year, and that's the difference so far. Graham set to draw with Conway. Ryder, the trigger man at the top of the circle. Puck caught up in Graham's equipment, comes back to the point. Clouston tried to shoot. He fanned on it. And now Graham back to center. Henning kicked it up to his stick, gets into the zone. Turned it over. Clouston sends it back out. Parsons, D to Graham. Now Matt Graham gets it in. DeCumbus sent it to the far side corner. DeCumbus kept it in. Scantleberry. Now DeCumbus on this line with Graham and Scantleberry. Henning a wrist shot. That got through. Babin got a piece of it. Scantleberry. Pushed off by Ryder. 2-on-2 scrum as it comes back to the point. Parsons on net. And that screen shot gloved by Babin. Lots of bodies there. And Trevor Babin able to find it. Under 3 to play here in period 2. Ulmer line coming out for the Prowlers. As we get set, Merritt and Makimods take the draw. Merritt won it back. Hainsel put it on net, and Ulmer tipped it just wide. Rockers coming the other way with numbers. It's White dropping it off for Thompson. The Rockers off sides. Hainsel took a spill. Crowd gathering on the near side boards. And both teams trying to see what's going on over there. Nothing to come of it. Boy, Dakota Ulmer had a good chance down at the other end, getting a stick on Adam Hainzel's attempt at the net. Ulmer on a 3-game pointless streak following a 3-game point streak he had going a little earlier in the year. If it's any coincidence, Prowlers are on a 3-game losing streak. Schumacher gets it in deep. Merritt tried to feed it back down low. Instead, comes back out to center. Schumacher turns away from Alekin. Now White. Up towards Everett Thompson. Goes towards Schumacher. Ulmer. Now played back to Schumacher in his own end. Up to Ulmer again. Chip towards Jay. Suffredini knocked it back the other way. And back into Port Huron territory. 2 minutes to go in period 2. Schumacher steps out from behind the net. Comes up to Ulmer. Backhands it into the zone. Colton behind his own net. Reverses it back this way towards Koch. Got Koch back the other way. Rotondi looking for a play out. You put it behind Cardinal. So now Devaney recovers, gives to Minnie, and now D Johnson. Comes back in towards Colton. Neither team able to get too much possession time in the offensive zone. Just kind of bouncing it back and forth. Finally, it goes deep into Prowler territory. And now Minnie tries to work it right back out. Devaney, stretch pass towards Scantleberry. Scantleberry's off sides. I don't think he realizes. Now he does. And he touches up as the Rockers get set to move out. Here comes Conway. Declan Conway puts it in front. Couldn't find Ryder. Shot from the point, deflected. And now Federley Moves it up towards Scantleberry. Final, under a minute to play here in the second period. Scantleberry tried to feed it deep. It's Rotundi getting it back out to center. Federley dangles his way in. Austin Federley pokes the puck further. Tried to put it in front. Goes off the side of the net. Puts it in front. Saved by Babbitt on Alex Johnson. Reaching the glove across. Now Graham with 21. Scantleberry turns away from pressure. Tucker Scantleberry in his feet. Now he gets it back to his stick. Gives to Minnie. Thought about the shot. Goes over to Federley. His shot goes off a stick. Graham put it in front. And now back to Federley. Final 5 seconds. Federley takes the shot. Blocked down. Cleared to the corner. And that will end period number 2 here at Big Boy Arena. Some words being had between Johnson and it looks like Vaughn Clouston. They'll be separated and sent to their respective dressing rooms. Clouston still barking at center ice. As the shots on goal for the period, 13-6 in favor of Port Huron, 29-21 in favor of the Prowlers overall. 13-6 in the period, but a 2-1 Motor City lead as we head to the second intermission. Both teams back to their dressing rooms. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Binghamton Black Bears on Friday, November 25th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. If you're looking for something to do the day after Thanksgiving, now you have it. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. It's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. 2-1 our score as we hit the second intermission here in Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Second intermission here at Big Boy Arena. Prowlers and the Rockers doing battle for the 6th time this season, with Motor City holding a 2-1 lead. This is the first of a 5-game road stretch for the Port Huron Prowlers. Next week, 2 games in Mississippi and 2 games the week after in Columbus. Those 2 teams playing each other tonight as we take a look around the FPHL. Through 1 period of play, the Seawolves have a 2-0 lead on the River Dragons. Moving to Delaware, the Thunder with a 5-4 lead over Watertown as they get set to begin the 3rd period. The Wolves a 35-19 shots advantage, but Delaware up where it counts, 5-4 on the scoreboard. Binghamton holds a 3-2 lead on Elmira. The Mammoth had leads of 1-0 and 2-1, but Binghamton took the lead in the 2nd period. Now they play in the 3rd with a 3-2 Black Bears advantage. And finally, we have 1 game already final tonight. It was down in Carolina, and the Thunderbirds beat the Danbury Hat Tricks 2-1 in overtime to earn a split in that series. Gus Ford with the game-tying goal with 6 seconds left in the 2nd period, and the OT winner for the Carolina Thunderbirds, Boris Babick, with a 38-save performance in net. So those are the scores around the FPHL. 2-1 our score here in Fraser. Just about 6.5 minutes to go until we get the final 20 minutes of play, and it's going to be important. It's an important 20 minutes for the Port Huron Prowlers, going to face arguably the 2 toughest teams in the Continental Division in back-to-back weeks. A win here would do wonders for the confidence on a 3-game losing skid, and also to pull even in the Battle of I-95 would also be a big key for Port Huron. A lot on the line in this early November contest between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. Our only goal of that 2nd period belonged to Scott Koch via the penalty shot. It was a shorthanded breakaway. Vinny DeCumbus hooked him, and Koch got the penalty shot, and he was able to beat Ian Wallace to give his team the lead. And that's where we stand. Shots on goal. Port Huron led the 2nd period 13-6, and the Prowlers lead the overall shots 29-21. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the start of period number 3. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Teams getting set to hit the ice again in just a minute. And Big Boy Arena, Will Wiggleman here with you. Thank you for tuning in on this Saturday evening for the 6th round between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. Rockers lead the season series 3-2, but the Prowlers looking to tie things up in the game and in the series. They have some work to do in this third period. Trevor Babin has been fantastic in the goal for Motor City, while Ian Wallace, very good himself. Some big saves during this game, but it's a 2-1 lead for the Rockers through 2 periods. As both teams, well, Prowlers are on the ice, still waiting for Motor City as time is ticking off on the big board above center. And now here comes Trevor Babin to lead his squad back out. Bit of a sparse crowd here at Big Boy Arena. The only game of the weekend for either of these two teams. Everyone else in the FPHL with 2 games, Prowlers and Rockers, just 1 game apiece. It was originally supposed to be 2 games. It was supposed to be a home and home between these 2 teams, but a Cheap Trick concert at McMorran Place last night ended up getting that game moved. That game was moved to the start of the season, which is why these 2 teams played a 3-3 on opening weekend. They were only scheduled for 2 games that weekend, but they ended up playing a 3-3. So all's even after this game. Prowlers with work to do. Down 2-1 as we hit the third period of play. Graham and Makima to draw at center. And we're underway in period 3. Suffredini gets it deep. Parsons behind the net. Up to Graham. Tried to feed Scantleberry, but he turned it over. Schumacher behind the net. Reverses back to the far side. Alekin couldn't handle that pass in front. And now Scantleberry dances around his man. And Tucker Scantleberry gets it deep, just to Babin's left. Schumacher couldn't keep it in. And now he'll skate it back to his own ice. Parsons up to Graham. Tried to flip it on towards Scantleberry. They couldn't connect. And now back to center, Ryder. And whistles blow. It looks like a penalty coming against Motor City. Too many men on the ice. And the Prowlers will get another power play. Not something that the Rockers fear all that much is the Prowlers power play, but a too many men on the ice call. One you rarely see, but the bench minor coming against Motor City, going to be served by Declan Conway. So an early chance for the Prowlers. We'll see if they can finally take advantage of the power play. 0 for 2 so far tonight. They had a 5-minute major at one point, unable to score there. And now Merritt will get his unit going, along with Ryder on the PK. Worked around near side. Federley fighting Giuliano to keep it in, and he does. Now Foley chases after it in the corner. Ryder off the boards, gets past Schumacher, but Frank Schumacher battling. And the puck squirts over to Federley. Back in Port Huron ice, just over a minute into period 3. Devaney into the zone. Joe Devaney back to the point, Federley. Schumacher to Federley. Over to Devaney, takes the shot. Waffle boarded by Babin. Battle in the corner, and the puck squirts between Schumacher and Federley at the point, and all the way down to Wallace. Prowlers switch up the power play unit as we approach the halfway point of the power play. Johnson to Jay, moving up ice. Dalton Jay pushed it deep. Scantleberry battling for it. Stays in the Rockers' end. Puck on net, blocked. Now Jay puts it back there. That one also blocked. And sent all the way back down to Prowler ice. 32 seconds left on the man advantage. As Port Huron looking for a big power play goal to tie this game. Johnson pushed it down to DeCumbus. Now Graham in front, went off of Suffredini and steered just wide. Now Johnson trying to put it in front. That one knocked down and Graham couldn't finish. Work towards Johnson, trying the wraparound. Now Scantleberry out to Jay. He hit Graham with that shot. And now Ryder steps out from behind his own net, hassled by Graham, knocked down. Scantleberry pushes it behind the net. Graham taken in by White. Now White pass up to Conway, missed Conway, but Johnson threw a hit on him, so the puck came back out to center. And now Conway will slow things down in his own end. 16:34 to go in period 3. Will Wiggleman, your broadcaster and cameraman for the evening. As here's Conway. Puts it in deep. Wallace out to play it. Backhanded it right into Hainsel, who took a hit from Thompson. That's Elias Thompson, who's getting a lot more shifts since Bartlett was sent off for a 5 in a game back in the second period. Minnie out of the reach of Ulmer, and now Koch turns it back in. Hainsel takes it from Wallace. Merritt one-touched it back to Chartrand, and now Ulmer tips it deep. Dakota Ulmer gets it himself. Chartrand with the puck, put it in front. Couldn't find Merritt. Knocked down at center by Cardinal. Here he comes. Tommy Cardinal shot saved by Wallace. Rebound cleaned up by Devaney. Tried to find Ulmer, but Contrado wise to that pass. Now Everett Thompson knocked away. And now Devaney trying to outrace Contrado for the puck. He will. Pulls up. Lost it for a second. Trying to feed Prowlers coming into the zone, but instead it pops out. And now back in are the Rockers, getting ready to start a breakout. Past 5 minutes into period number 3. Prowlers still down 1. As both teams waiting for Josh Colton to do something. Puck comes right back to him. And now Colton, still behind his own net. He's wasted nearly a minute back there. And finally, the Rockers figure out what kind of breakout they want to run. And after all that, they ice the puck. .27 to go in the third period. Prowlers trail by a goal. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 14:27 to go in the third period. Prowlers up on shots 30-23, but they trail by a goal to the Motor City Rockers. Austin Federle skating up for the draw. Took a couple of big hits. Both of them drew penalties, but his power play unable to take advantage. He did go up to the dressing room at one point, but back on the ice. Schumacher keeps it in. Federle cycles it deep. Goes around towards Colton. Federle takes on Conway. Parsons tried to put it on net. It was blocked. Rockers coming the other way. Makima has help, takes the shot, missed it wide. Parsons trying to move up ice. Brian Parsons takes the shot, save, rebound, cleared away. Parsons finds it again in front. Graham, second try, also blocked. And now Johnson back to center. Scantlebury makes a move, gets in, takes the shot, saved by Babin, and he'll hold on with Scantlebury coming right at him. Here Rotundi exchange a couple of half-hearted shoves, and they'll be separated. 13:39 to go in period 3. Prowlers trailing 2-1 the Motor City Rockers as the Ulmer line back out as we get set for another offensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers. Comes back to Johnson. Wrist shot turned aside by Babin. Conway deflects it back to center. Ulmer and Merritt tried to get it deep. Instead it comes back out towards Johnson. Alex Johnson backhands it into Rocker territory. Off the glass back to center. Henning cuts it off. Dustin Henning tried to turn it back in front. That was cut off. And now Johnson throws a check on Conway, takes the puck. With 4 Rockers back, there were 6 on the ice. And it looks like they're getting Motor City for too many men on the ice for the second time tonight. So the little bit of undisciplined play from the Rockers bench. And once again, it will be Declan Conway to serve it. And we'll see if this is the time when the Prowlers power play comes up with its big goal. The Graham unit out there. As the 12:51 to go in the third. Face off one to the corner by Motor City, but the Prowlers control. Jay up top takes a shot. He scores! A seeing eye shot from the point. It looks like somebody in front got a tip on it. It might be Matt Graham. But either way, the Prowlers have tied it up, and the power play comes through. It's 2-2. If it is indeed Matt Graham, it's his second of the season and goals in back-to-back games. And finally, a sigh of relief for the Prowlers power play, who was 1 for 17 last weekend. They finally put one home, and a big goal. It ties the scores. Cardinal and Scantlebury getting a little raucous over there. And they'll both head to the box. Scantlebury with a smile on his face. 4-on-4 to come. Chartrand was hoping it could be 5-on-5. He hopped over the boards, but instead it is four-side hockey for the next 2 minutes. Ryder comes on to join Koch up front for Motor City, as they're waiting for the penalties to go up on the big board here. Now, Tucker Scantlebury, a guy who we've seen over the past couple of weeks get under the opponent's skin and definitely be involved in some of those between whistle battles, post-whistle scrums. And once again, he's headed to the box, but this time he takes Tommy Cardinal with him. Colton, long pass over to Koch, and now Ryder. Ryder steps in, It's taken off his stick by Federle. Hansel moves up the other way. Drops for Graham. Matt Graham. Drop pass back to Federle at the face-off circle. His highest shot fought off by Babin and back to center. Mini recovers in his own end, turns up ice. Gino Mini, game number 100 for him. Kicks it back up to his stick. Lost it. And Everett Thompson forced back deep into his own end as the Prowlers change all four. Now Thompson puts it on net. Put on again by Makima. That one found glass. So officially the power play goal for the Prowlers is assisted by Dalton J. and Matt Graham getting credit for it is Schumacher with the shot from the tough angle. Save made. Down low, Debony. Tried the Michigan, thought about it. Lucas Rowe did that to the Prowlers a couple of weeks ago. Debony couldn't complete it. Now Parsons trying to fight his way deep. Puck jammed on net, and Foley taken down as he was looking for that rebound. Foley back to his feet. 11:08 to go in the third period, and 26 seconds left on the Miners to Scantlebury and Cardinal. Sam Merritt and Brad Ryder to draw. Klauston takes it off the face-off. Now move to Contrado. Up to Ryder. Brad Ryder, the wall of Prowlers, backhands towards Conway. He collects it in the corner. Back to Ryder, all alone, in front. Fed it down low, they score! It's Contrado at the side of the net. No Prowlers in sight. And Ryder to Contrado, a 4-on-4 goal, restores the lead. Boy, Ryder came out in front. All the Prowlers were below the goal line. And nobody able to help. And too little too late when they did come. And Motor City restores the lead. It's Declan it looks like it's going to be Contrado's goal. Brandon Contrado getting his first of the season. Prowlers find themselves behind again as Contrado curls back in his own end. 5-on-5 hockey. Slap pass all the way up, off the side of the net. Icing waved off. Cardinal and Hansel. Cardinal knocked down Hansel. Mini comes in, throws body around. In front, Koch! Second chance opportunity. And no, they kept it out. And now a brouhaha ensues in front of Ian Wallace. And somehow Scott Koch all alone in front, unable to beat Ian Wallace. A couple of good chances there for him. Everybody separated as the Rockers with their 3-2 lead, 10:25 to go in the third period. Graham line back out there, and a late Motor City change sends out the Makima line. And now coming over to the Prowler bench is Tommy Cardinal. Cardinal wasn't even on the ice. He was just at the Prowler bench. And now Cardinal is heading to the box, and the Prowlers back on the power play. I didn't see who he was jawing with, but if I was a betting man, I would have said Tucker Scantlebury, except he was on the ice. So I really couldn't tell you who Tommy Cardinal was jawing with. He did take a shot at somebody, it looked like. We were all set for a face-off. down in Prowler territory, and Tommy Cardinal, who wasn't even involved as one of the men on the ice, one of the 5 for the Prowlers, or for the Rockers, excuse me, went over to the Prowlers bench, got into some words, and now Everett Thompson looking for an explanation along with Matt Graham. 2 minutes up on the big board for Tommy Cardinal. Now Graham getting a long explanation. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty officially. Can the Prowlers power play strike twice? They keep it in. As Graham moves up to Jay on the half wall. Down low, Graham again. Tried to feed it across towards DeCumbus. Johnson winds and fires. That one missed the net. Went high, and Jay back to Johnson at the point. Wrist shot, deflected on, save Babin, rebound, puck is loose in the crease. It's still there, and now Jay collects it in the corner. Babin recollects his stick. Here's Graham to Johnson seeking down the slot. Saved by Babin. Now Graham tried to put it around the post. He couldn't do it. All of a sudden, the Prowlers' power play is dangerous. Jay tried to direct it on, couldn't do it. Scantleberry has to deal with a loose stick behind the net. That belongs to Clouston. Now Scantleberry to the slot, shoots, he scores! Tucker Scantleberry ties it up again. There's a scrum going on in front of the net, but another power play goal for the Prowlers. It's a 3-all game. Absolute chaos as the Prowlers power play, gaining some confidence after the last goal comes through again. And Tommy Cardinal costing his team with what I will be very frank about, a silly and dumb penalty to take at this stage in a hockey game, really at any stage in a hockey game, to go jawing at the opponent's bench. And now Conway in a discussion at center ice with referee Jim Scarpus. But either way, it is a 3-all game on Tucker Scantleberry's 3rd of the year. In game number 5 for him as a Prowler. And he was the guy who was with Cardinal. They went to the box together. And some kind of discussion going on here. I don't know if somebody called a timeout or what happened. But both teams heading back to their bench. And it looks like we'll take a timeout. It's immediate timeout. 3-3 our score. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
862 fans here at Big Boy Arena taking in what's been a great game between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. 3-all our score just moments ago. Tucker Scantleberry had the Prowlers' 2nd power play goal of the evening to tie things up. White looking to respond for Motor City as he wraps it in. Foley trying to work through center. Couldn't get it to the DeCumbus, and now Ryder moving back the other way. Brad Ryder pushed off by Hainsel. Back to the point, here's White. Wrist shot on, that floated wide. And now Devaney up to center. Conway turning it back the other way. Declan Conway to Ryder. Almost was lit up by Gino Mini. Just missed that hit. Now here's Thompson trying to turn the corner. Took the shot, steered aside by Wallace. Mini takes the loose puck and moves up ice. Gino Mini backhands it deep. Prowlers make a change. Mini taken down by Thompson. He'll head back to the bench. White thought about the stretch pass, instead hands off to Makima. Schumacher blew a tire. Makima in, save, rebound. Just past the outstretched stick of a rocker that was heading towards the net. That was Alekian. Federley trying to tip it out. Gets it up. Here's Jay. Has Merrick going to the net. Jay tried to feed it back to Federley. Back checking rocker, able to get in the way of that. And now Makima moves out to center. Parsons to Schumacher. Up towards Jay. Jay kept it in. Over to Federley. Shot saved by Babin. And he'll hold on. 7:38 to go in the third period. Prowlers and Rockers knotted at 3. Tucker Scantleberry, the last goal in this one. He returns to the ice along with the rest of his line. Graham set to draw with Koch. And one back. Here's Johnson at the point. Wrist shot, blocked to the corner. Federley up to Scantleberry. Trying to dance his way through, but he was double teamed. The Rockers get it in, right into Wallace's glove. He'll hold on. 7:22 up on the game clock. Some words, but not much else between Johnson and Elias Thompson. Thompson just a little bit bigger than Alex Johnson and more of a fighter than the Prowlers assistant coach, but they line up with each other on those far boards. Comes back to the point. Here's Colton, wrist shot. Missed it wide. Now Federley. Austin Federley up to Graham. Now Scantleberry into the zone. Wraps it deep. Henning in on the forecheck. Moves it to Graham. Tried to pass it off. Said it was turned over. Prowlers able to keep it ahead of them, though, as they go off for a full line change. Conway working in. Saved by Wallace on the quick shot. And he'll scoop it up and hold on. Conway and Johnson. Little pushing and shoving. Not much else as Alex Johnson heads back to his bench. Face-off chopped right towards Wallace, and he'll hold on again. We'll try it again to his left with 6:43 to go in period 3. Contrado just couldn't hold it in. Comes over to Clouston. Cross corner dump in Mini's direction. Wrapped around towards Devaney. Moves back to the point, Clouston. Giuliano tried to feed the slide. Instead, Mini starts the other way. Foley off the boards, trying to get it himself. Puck comes into the slot. Giuliano back the other way. Flipped it over Gino Mini. And now Mini behind his own net. Almost stripped of the puck. Now Makima takes it. 6 minutes to go in the third. Contrado winds and fires it in. Off of Wallace's glove. And now DeCumbus lifts it up and out. Now Gino Mini again. To Jay. Up to Chartrand. Shot save by Babin. Makima. Now Contrado trying to move it out. Schumacher cut off that pass. He's back in. Here's Frank Schumacher. Tried to feed Jay in front. Sliding block there. And then Chartrand couldn't tap in that backdoor opportunity. Merritt tried to force it in. Couldn't do so. Comes back to Sam Merritt again. We approach 5 minutes to go in the third period. Chartrand back to the point. Here's Schumacher's shot. Saved by Babin. And he'll hold on. 5:02 to go in the third period, as we play in a 3-all game here in Fraser. Shots on goal, 42-31 in favor of the Prowlers. Both goaltenders excellent for their sides. Schumacher off the draw. Wristed it looking for a stick. That comes to Cardinal. He could push it too far ahead of himself. And now Schumacher tried to force it up, couldn't do it. Cardinal trying to fight his way towards the net. And now comes out to the slot. Shot by Koch. He missed it high. Comes all the way back out to Rocker territory. Suffredini holds in his own end. Towards White. Ian White gets there. Back to Suffredini. To Conway. Moving up ice. Now Suffredini back at center. To White. Up to Giuliano. Backhanded it in. And now back in front. And Wallace had to be alert there. Knocked out at center and sent back into Prowler territory. Under 4 minutes to play in a tied hockey game. DeCumbus gave it away. The quick shot on net missed. And the rebound try missed by even more. Another shot on net. Ends up behind it. Now Ryder finally with some control for Motor City. Move back to the point. Conway's wrist shot. Save by Wallace. And he'll hold on with 3:34 to go in the third period. And we'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Motor City, so sorry, just a couple of technical difficulties there on the audio. Sent back into Prowler end. Mini. Turned it over. Alekin couldn't get a shot away. Now it's towards the net and then directed just wide. Scary moments there for Port Huron, but they're not out of danger yet. Mini. Wrapped it around the boards. Now Foley. Back to Gino Mini. Flipped it high out to center. Deflected back in off the glass. Mini. Off the glass. Chartrand picked it up. Now up to Jay. Has Merritt going to the net. Gives it there. And Babin steered it aside. Schumacher towards Chartrand. He deflected it on. Babin had the answer. And the puck squirts back to center. All the way down. And it will have enough for an icing. Merritt, Jay, and Devaney, the forward line. Out there for Port Huron. Comes back to Parsons. Off the glass, on net, save, rebound. It was there. And Sam Merritt had a great opportunity just chopping that one on net, and Babin was alert to make the save. 2:06 to go in the third period. Merritt wins it back to the point. Parsons rims it around. Back in front! And Jay couldn't direct that on net. And it's lifted back out to center. Parsons takes it back in his own territory. Up to Devaney. He deflects it into the zone. Hops over White's stick. He gets there ahead of Jay. And now Conway moves to Giuliano. Back to Conway. Walks in, shoots. And that one went high over the net. Rebound. Bounces around, hit the side of the cage, and now Jay looking for Scantleberry. Didn't get all the way there cleanly. Now puck in Motor City ice. Here's White in front of his own net. Now he'll backtrack behind the cage. 1:17 to go in period 3. Makima takes that pass, gets it deep. Johnson had it taken off his stick. Got it back, though. Alex Johnson near side Federley with some speed. Austin Federley drops it off to Scantleberry. Fights to the front and couldn't get a shot on net. That one went through the crease. Scantleberry takes the loose puck, and he didn't get all of that shot. Rotundi trying to get it out. Instead, Johnson kept it in. 39 seconds on the clock. Graham got it deep. Comes back to the point. Johnson trying to put it back down the wall. Scantleberry takes his man down. Arms stay down in a 25 seconds to go game. A tied hockey game. Comes to the net, and Wallace covers up with 17.4 on the clock, and now Scantleberry getting into it. And now he's jumped on by, it looked like Cardinal. Tough for us to see from our vantage point here, as unlike at McMorran Place where we're all the way up, here it's just a little bit above the concourse area, so it's very tough for us to see. Chartrand went over to the Motor City bench to have some words. Both penalty box doors open as Scantleberry heads over there along with Cardinal. And now it looks like those are the only two. Oh no, Danny Chartrand now heading over there. I know Chartrand just handing off gloves and a stick. So it seems like we will have even strength. 17.4 seconds on the clock, but Cardinal and Scantleberry, two important cogs to have if you're both teams. As far as the potential overtime goes, that we are very close to. Decision still being made. We'll let you know as soon as they put up the penalties on the clock here. Referee signaling 4-on-4. So 2 minutes each to Scantleberry and Cardinal. Well, tune in to our next broadcast on November 11th when the Prowlers visit the Mississippi Seawolves. Puck drop is scheduled for 8:05 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 7:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. That's part of a 5-game road stretch for the Prowlers that they're beginning tonight. As Johnson off the draw, lifts it to the point. White controls it down. Comes back to White again. Final 7 seconds on the clock. Makima tried to force it to the net. Johnson will eat it behind his own cage. And for the second time this season, the Port Huron Prowlers will head to overtime. Shots between those 60 minutes. 44 for the Prowlers, 33 for the Motor City Rockers. And 60 minutes is not enough here at Big Boy Arena. We'll take a quick timeout as we get set for sudden death overtime between the Prowlers and the Rockers. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.